Hey everybody, I'm John Coleman. We're going to do a series of presentations, and I thank y'all for joining us here today. And our topic today is the means and the methods that are used to transform our life from the worldly to the spiritual. I've been trying to transform my life since I was 33 years old. Right after I turned 33, almost 35 years ago, I'll turn 68, hopefully by the grace of God, October the 24th of this month. And I've been using the means and the method that God has provided us for so graciously by His grace. And primarily the principal means that I try to live by is the power of prayer, self-examination. I believe we're supposed to give thanks in everything. We're supposed to give thanks in all circumstances. And what I've learned is I'm better off examining myself and concentrating on what I need to be doing instead of focusing on what other people ought to be doing or ought not be doing. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of self-searching. And what I want us to consider as far as meditation goes is how much better off would each of us be if we could look beyond the faults of others and focus on their needs. And I believe God created every man, woman, and child, regardless of race, creed, or color, to have a sense of belonging, of being wanted and needed and loved. We want to do some self-examination. We want to do some self-evaluations. We want to uncover, discover, and discard anything that's unhealthy for us. Avoid all kinds of evil and hold on to the good. This is volume 1, part 1. We call ourselves the Living Branches. The Living Branches has been around for a long period of time, and what we want to do is stay connected so we can produce some real good fruit in a very healthy way. The method that we use in simplicity is the method of the coaches, and what coaches do is they review films. They review their film of their practice fields, their scrimmages, their ball games, and they review other people's film too. And the reason they do that is so their players can grow into maturity. So we grow by our willingness, which is a deep desire to face and rectify errors and convert them into assets. And I want to say this method of the coaches, my dream was to be a football coach. Today I get to be a spiritual life coach by the grace of God. I've personally been going to jails trying to help people. I need to clarify that. Since 1996, I started going to treatment centers in 1997, and I started going to prisons in 1999. And I've been doing that ever since, and what I enjoy doing is sharing experience, strength, and hope. Not necessarily my own, so other people can transform from the worldly way of thinking and doing to the spiritual way of thinking and doing. We have a YouTube channel that's in baby stages, and we want to encourage y'all to subscribe to Living Branches, Method of the Coaches. That's our YouTube channel. So we're going to start off with the power of prayer. This is one of the deepest, richest, meaningful prayers that I know of in simplicity. But what we want to do is we want to accept the gift that God has to offer. And what we want to have is peace of mind. So we want to ask God, if y'all will, let's open our session, our presentation, with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thy will, not mine, be done. And I think those 6 words are some of the most deepest words that there are in the English language. We want to get out of self-will right here, and we want to get in God's will. So we want to transform from the worldly to the spiritual. And a lot of times I believe we in self-will because we operating off the natural desires and the God-given instincts. And as a rule, we misuse them over and over and over again in ways that can't be described, really. It's something that has to be experienced. So, let's begin by considering some of the means God uses to search our heart. One of his principal means is prayer. Coupled with self-examination, we want to examine ourselves to see if our faith is genuine, which goes back to what or who are you putting your faith in. And we want to meditate on that. We want to meditate on it. We want to let our meditation be in a positive way and not in a negative way. And what I mean by that is a lot of people meditate on the worries and the anxieties and the frustration. And a lot of people meditate on what everybody else is doing or not doing. A lot of people focus on what everybody else is not doing. If we're not careful, because of that kind of meditation, we'll become grumblers and complainers and fault finders. So we need to do some self-searching, some self-evaluation, because here's what I believe, regardless of race, creed, or color, that God created us to be united in the Spirit and be united in the right kind of love. So I'm going to say it one more time. How much better off would each of us be? I don't know if I've even said it the first time in this presentation, but I say it a lot. How much better off would each of us be if we could look beyond the faults of others and focus on their needs? And everybody wants to feel needed, wanted, and loved. So, here's the method of the coaches in action. Except we're going to transfer it from the worldly to the spirit. When you get reborn, you enter the world of the Spirit. And our next function in the realm of the Spirit is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. So we grow by our willingness to face and rectify errors and convert them into assets. If we convert all our mistakes, our errors into assets, how many assets will we have? I'm going to say countless, and that's a message of hope for all of us. So, we're going to go back and look at what kind of lifestyle that we've been living in the past and what kind of lifestyle we're living in the present. So I want y'all to meditate on that, do some self-searching, some self-evaluating, and pray about it and see what you see. There's three things that God put on my heart to stress in this presentation. In order for us to be faithful with the little things, we've got to see where we've been unfaithful. In order for us to be obedient to this abundant life He wants us to have, we got to see where we've been disobedient. And in order for us to be disciplined so we can grow into mature players, we have to see where we've been undisciplined. But just seeing it, at least we've become aware of it. But the game changers in reality are the ones who are willing to do something about the things that's been blocking them from the sunlight of the Spirit. So we don't want to be cut off anymore. We don't want to be severed from the vine. We want to be connected in the vine because that's where the real strength is. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to go through a series of questions and I want y'all to reflect back and meditate on it. I want y'all to do this in a constructive way, not in a destructive way. So let's don't get caught up in morbid reflections and the yeah buts and if only and I wished I'd have done this, I wished I hadn't have done that. Well, see, if you did it, you did it. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. So what we want to do is learn from our mistakes, take advantage of them, and quit letting them take advantage of us. Or in the spiritual realm, we don't want the nature of darkness to hold an axe over our head about the mistakes or the errors we've done. We want to look at it. We want to meditate on it. And we want to look at it as a spiritual workout, as part of our training. Here's what I believe. If we put our dark past, no matter how dark it is, if we put our dark past in God's hands, God is going to give us victory over it. And He'll use our dark past as a key that will unlock doors for other people that can be used to avert death and misery for just countless people. So what we want to do is we want to get out of red and get into black. Worldly, monetarily, we want to get out of red by being faithful with our money, and we want to get out of black. We want to get into black and get out of red. So, how much money have you spent in your lifetime? This is what put the method of the coaches in the forefront of my mind. So I started reflecting back. This guy that God used to help me get this method of the coaches going in my daily activities, he asked me that question. He said, John, I want you to think about how much money you spend in your lifetime. So I started doing some self-examination. I started doing some self-searching. I started doing some meditation. And I started praying, God, help me see what I need to see. Help me hear what I need to hear. Help me become what you created me to be instead of being what I became. An unfaithful servant with the money that I was so graciously given. How much money have you spent in your lifetime? Just ponder that question for a few minutes. Not in a morbid way, but in an eye-opening way. Next question. What did you spend your money doing? Meditate on that. Do some self-examination on that. Reflect back and review your film, but what we don't want to do is live in those instant replays. We don't want to live back here. We just want to see how we've been getting outsmarted. So what did you spend your money doing? Here was a big question for me that really hurt me. Who did you spend that money with? I lived in a lifestyle, the truth of the matter is, I did a lot of drinking, I did a lot of socializing, I did a lot of fishing, I did a lot of hunting, and the lifestyle that I lived cost me and my family a whole lot of money when you start stacking it up. And a lot of times we would spend it on a daily basis and not put it on a yearly basis. And when you start thinking about how much money you spend on a daily basis, and then put that on some of those isolated events that you was involved in that you shouldn't have been involved in, and the people that you were involved with that you shouldn't have been involved with, doing things that you shouldn't have been doing, and had no idea that you was not just depriving yourself, but depriving your family and depriving your friends. It was a painful thing to look at, but it was one of the most eye-opening experiences that I've ever had in my life that got this method of the coaches in motion in the spiritual realm by looking at it from the worldly and transferring it over into the spiritual. Where or how did I get that money? I was a gambler. And I got a lot of money in ways that I never should have got it. And I didn't realize then, just like I didn't realize in my own life, that I was taking food off of my table. I was taking clothes off of my kids' back. I was taking shoes off their feet. And I was taking vehicles out of their driveway. That's the way it was for me. And then I want to look back on it and ask myself this question: where or how did I get that money? A lot of times I would receive money from people that I was gambling with, Sometimes it was reversed. Many times it got reversed. They took money from me. But I didn't know that, and then what I know now, that I was taking food off of somebody's family's table. I didn't know that I was taking food out of little children's mouths and clothes off their backs and shoes off their feet and vehicles out of their driveway. But the reality was, I was being used by the nature of darkness to fulfill his purpose, to steal, kill, and destroy. To meditate on that and see what you see. There again, I want to say we're doing this in a positive way so we can learn from it, so we can grow from it, so we can become what we were created to be instead of being what we became. Last question I'm going to ask is, what should you have done instead of living this lifestyle? And a lot of people's lifestyle, it includes drugs, sex, alcohol, watching things we shouldn't watch, going places we shouldn't go, being involved with people we shouldn't have been involved with. And to my shame, I live a perverted lifestyle, but by the grace of God, I don't live that lifestyle anymore. So what I want to encourage y'all to do, whether you're in a treatment center, whether you're at home watching this YouTube, hopefully, or watching this presentation, or whether you're in a jail, or whether you're in a prison, or whether you're in a nursing home, or wherever you are, I want to encourage you to consider the lifestyle you once lived, what kind of lifestyle you live today, and what kind of lifestyle you want to live in the future, and who you want to live for, and who you want to represent. We want to break the old unhealthy habits that kept the home in turmoil, those selfish and inconsiderate habits. Selfish and inconsiderate habits, lifestyle. Money squandered. Money squandered. Money squandered. I learned this a long time ago. I heard a man say, if you really want to check and see what your priorities are, check your checkbook and your time. Two things. Anyway, I'm going to leave this up here. We're going to end this presentation. We'll be back shortly with Volume 1, Part 2. God bless you. We love you. And let's overcome together. Thank you very much.